So do you think Khamzat Chimaev actually wants to fight? We haven't seen him since September and his win against Kevin Holland. And ever since then, he's been calling out absolutely everybody, not only within the welterweight division, but also the middleweight division. So we've heard a lot of noise from him, but there's yet to be a fight take place. What do you guys actually think is going on here? I just find it really strange how he entered the UFC and he fought 2 fights within the same week, I believe, getting back-to-back wins, didn't even take a punch, walked through Gerald Meerschaert, got an impressive win against Gilbert Burns and then Kevin Holland, and then ever since just absolutely nothing. You know, he's gone from extremely active to really not really seeing much of him. And for me as a fight fan, it's incredibly frustrating because I see him as one of the top prospects within the UFC today. It just seems like he's lacking a bit of direction within his career. And as we know, he did have a bit of trouble making weight against Kevin Holland. He didn't actually make weight. His original fight was scheduled to take place against Nate Diaz that night, and he couldn't make the weight. I don't know if he actually wants to fight, because the UFC, in my opinion, would be crazy to not to take advantage of the hype that this guy possesses. I mean, according to Dana White, he says that Khamzat doesn't want to fight, that they have offered him fights, but Khamzat Chimaev has come out and said, look, he sees things a little bit differently. He's preparing to fight, but he's not getting the opportunities, and he wonders why. Now, it did look like for a while there that he was going to take on Paulo Costa. As we know, Paulo Costa re-signing with UFC, which was fantastic news, and there was a little bit of beef there, so there was a little bit of story. That fight was quite hyped, but now I'm sort of getting the feeling that this fight isn't going to happen. Does anyone agree with that? You know, it's been talked about for a while, but we're yet to hear an announcement. We're yet to hear anything about that fight. And as we know, Paulo Costa's a fight at 185. On top of this, he has already called out Israel Adesanya and Robert Whittaker. So I'm not sure what the holdup is. Paulo Costa, you know, one could argue that maybe behind the scenes, he doesn't really actually want this fight, but I can't see someone like Robert Whittaker or Israel Adesanya not taking a fight against Khamzat. You know, I think they would both fancy their chances against him. And on top of this, he's calling out the fighters at welterweight. You know, the most recent one is Kamaru Usman. So it seems like he's setting up fights with 10 different people at once, lacking a bit of direction. I mean, if you look at people like Kobe Covington, the way they do it is they're doing it very strategically, quite planned. But if you look at Khamzat, he's just basically give me everybody, but nothing is actually falling into place for him. I don't know what's going on. You know, I'm just extremely frustrated because as a fight fan, I want to see this guy fight. You know, I love how dominant he's been. The skills that he shows within his wrestling is absolutely fantastic. And he's a great striker too. You know, one of the most well-rounded prospects that we've had in quite some time. Now, in my opinion, let me know what you think, but I think he should forget about the welterweight division from now on. He clearly has a bit of trouble making the weight, so I think he should stop wasting his time calling out those fighters and focus on the middleweight division, because I think he's going to be a future world champion there. He just needs to narrow his focus a little bit. He's a bit of a shotgun approach, and it's not really working for him, is it? I mean, it'll be coming up onto almost a year since we've seen him fight last, and it's just not good business. It's frustrating for the fans. It's frustrating for everybody. We like seeing him active. We like seeing him run through people, and I want to see him face some higher level opponents just to have a little bit more competitiveness about his bouts. You know, see where he really sits within the UFC. Gilbert Burns was a massive test, don't get me wrong, but if he's going to go up to middleweight, which I think he should, let's just start giving him these top 5 opponents. Let's just start throwing him his way. I mean, clearly he's deserved it. I'm not saying he deserves a title shot right away. I mean, he hasn't really had many fights at that division, but he clearly deserves some top-level opponents. Put him in there against Robert Whittaker. You know, put him in there against some guys that are right at the top of the heap and just see where things land. But I don't know what's going on. Do you guys think the Paulo Costa fight's going to actually take place? I'm not too sure. Hopefully we're going to hear an announcement soon, and I think him not cutting so much weight will be actually really good for him. Let's see where things land over the next month. I'm not too confident a fight will be announced very soon. You know, I know that's a bit pessimistic of me. You know, it's just frustrating seeing him call out all these fighters, nothing actually eventuating. Now, if you guys like this sort of content, please feel free to hit subscribe, but only if you are interested in the latest MMA news, fighter breakdowns, and those sorts of things. And also make sure to touch the like button as well. That's it from me for now. Thanks very much for tuning in, everyone, and I'll catch you all later.